started. And I know you guys all have your own story, but maybe for watching the recording, we just started off by kind of kicking off just like some things that we're grateful for. It's one of the greatest skills of a health coach, just coming from a place of gratitude, because that pours out of you into other people, and we have so much to be grateful for. All right, guys, welcome. I'm actually going to share my screen real quick. You guys look great this morning, but I'm going to have to edit it down to just 5 people on my screen here. If I can get my PowerPoint set up here. This day is going to be a little bit different. So let me explain what's going on here. One, welcome all my friends. Yes, we went back to school too. It's preschool. It's not as intense as like senior year. Candy, I feel you. I feel like I know all those things that go on to that. But we're getting back grounded after the holiday weekend, after a really good growing week last week, where we all learned a lot about mindset of sponsoring. And we're just getting grounded in here today. And we're going to build on what we talked about last month, all the things that worked, the reasons why we had our best months yet, the reason why you guys are seeing changes and victories in your coaching. We're going to basically move all that energy into a consistency club. We're calling it the 30-day consistency club, because a lot of you guys are building on your best months yet that you had last month. A lot of you guys are really growing and learning this consistency deal. And so a lot of people were like, I don't want the training to end. They were all bummed. They're like, what do we do now? So we decided to move it into basically, let's keep the time. You built the structure. You built the schedule. You know everything you need to know. We literally covered everything you need to know to be an amazing health coach. We really covered it all. The rest is just practice. So congratulations. As you built the time in, we're going to keep this time. And so what we're going to do during these 30 days, during our 7 a.m. time, is we're going to have a little bit of an overview of basically for you guys that are doing this. When you have on-purpose time, when you have your structure set up, when you have all the things that we're going to go over again on the basics that just how to keep your business simple and easy in about 8 to 10 hours a week, 8 to 12 hours. What do the pros do? What does Denise Heinrichs do? What does Candy and Casey, what do they do? It's Don, what did Don and Brian do? I'm sure you guys want to know that, because from here on out, it just becomes about consistency and getting more efficient to the point basically where it just becomes you can do it in your sleep. So this is all to build on last month. And if you're here today, this is what this crew is for. It's for people that want to learn and grow. It's for people that want to become great health coaches. It's for many of you who want to reach, basically if I'm describing this group, it's for everyone that wants to go, all of you that want to go executive director for the first time this month. It's for many of you guys that want to build to that 10,000 frontline volume mark and learning your craft really well. Many of you guys growing towards FIBC, anyone who wants to reach new heights in your business, basically those that want to be really good at health coaching and want to be around people that like changing their life, like moving forward, because you are like the 5 people you surround yourself with. And I'm surrounded by, 82 people on a Saturday morning that are moving forward in their life, their health, everything. And also, a lot of people on the recording, I think a big chunk of this crew is at the Dr. A event in Annapolis today. So a lot of them are catching the recording. So that's why we're missing a few people right now. So I'm going to check the chat real quick, because we're going to get into some actual work time today. Perfect. Okay, just making sure everyone's just saying how much they love Candy. I love Candy too. That's what the chat says. Glad you spoke, Candy. Just waking up this morning. So here's basically what we're going to be doing this month. This last month, Dawn and Allison did a random power hour, and they just kind of opened up to the whole crew. And it was very enlightening. That's kind of how we decided to move this format in. It provoked a ton of questions based off of the basics we know that work. That's what we want to create here during this time. Is we will be able to ask questions. At the end of the call, we'll kind of recap after we have some actual, we're literally going to just be quiet and do the stuff that we need to do. Because and this is the best example I can give you for all of you new coaches. And for all of you brand new coaches, welcome. This is our community. I hope you heard the stories that got started, how we started off today. That's what community you're a part of and what you're building towards. But back to what I was talking about, the example of what this call is when you learn the basics, growth doesn't mean more work. Growth actually means what happens when you do the basics every single day. So we did the basics, we're only going to do a little bit of training overview at the beginning of each call, and then we're going to have actual like probably like 30 or so minutes of work time so you can see what people do and like get some insight of our brains, like the people that run 10,000 frontline volume, the integrated national directors and global directors. What do they do? Like, what does their mind go to? Because you can do that too. Dawn is going to take this days to kind of cover a few different things, like, and it'll all be applicable to the time of the month. But even, did you know even the great Dawn Chow missed executive director every third month when she got started? Oh my gosh, Dawn was a real human being. Yes, and then she learned the basics. And by the way, I'm going to brag on Dawn. Dawn and Brian, over 5,000 in frontline volume on the 9th of the month. I bet you guys want their business. And I know you guys do because they have amazing people in it and they have great connections with their clients. They're going to show you, or she's going to show you how to do that today. Anyways, this call is all about learning about and work time on the things that the most successful people do that you can learn to do too. So we're going to help you by keeping it on point with structure. Remember these things. Remember gratitude. Remember consistency. So key, consistency. If you ever get weary, just remember consistency. If you ever have an off day, or I think this week is for if you have kids, if you're Candy right now, you know what I'm talking about. This is like, woo, okay, I'm getting my feet back underneath me this week. I only have one, and I feel like, and that's preschool, and I still feel that. I'm still feeling this week. So, and remembering this is that, man, those squiggly lines right there, they feel good. Success doesn't just come easy. Everyone wants to act like it's easy. Like Instagram, they want to make it look like they just woke up like that. Hey, that ain't how it happened. Like I'm seeing everyone right now, 7 a.m. That's not how, yeah, exactly. Like even I don't look, I mean, I need all the help I can get, but even I have Ashley's like Lumi light. Like, come on guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't as predictable as it all looks here. So the point is just remember that we're getting better. With everything you learn and everything you put into practice, it gets easier and you can change more lives. So keep working at all this stuff. Also remember this during this season right now, the connections that you're making. We're going to basically bring it back to making connections every single week because it's the connections and how we connect and how we live and whose lives we pour into and the value we bring and the consistency we bring to that makes people change their lives. How many of you guys had victories that have been coaching for a long time, maybe this last month, of people that reached out literally just because you've been consistent? You guys know what I'm talking about. Denise, yeah, I see you raising your hand. Just remember that. So as we kind of get in here today, and Dawn's going to speak, and then we're going to have our time, this is the basics. This is what we want to bring you guys back to this week because everyone's like, how did we grow last month? How do we do this? It's the same predictable things every single time. So this is what a strong growing business, wherever you're at, whether you're growing to executive director or above and beyond, wherever. Elizabeth last week, how did she grow to FIBC working, like she said, 5 to 6 hours? I'm guessing with like blended connection time, it's probably more like 10. But how do you go FIBC in 10 hours a week? How do you do that? Well, we're going to show you. It's all the same stuff. You can do it too. So this is what you need. Just come back to this stuff. Your health. I need either an A. I mean, you can be at an A+, just killing it, but I need at least a B- from myself to be able to authentically reaching from people. And I'm just going to speak from experience on this stuff. Dawn, and you can validate when I'm done here if there's anything you want to add to it. You need a map and a hundreds list. So basically, if you remember any structure stuff from this is that 5 and 1 will grow your business a ton every month if your systems are in place. So 5 new clients, 1 new coach. And if you're doing the basics, leading with your health, staying consistent, that it will be there and possibly more. If you can focus on growing 1 to 3 points a month, that's a champion business right there. Steady over time is what makes the difference. Your map, it should be your goals, your vision, what matters to you. You don't, and here's I'm just going over all the nuance things. You get a little Brad Unplugged this morning. So many people will get on autopilot and they'll start filling out their map because they're supposed to. Never fill out your map or do anything like just routine or habit. Your map is your ability to be organized and focus on what you want daily. So it's right there in front of you. Mine, it's right there on my binder, so I know exactly where it's at. The next thing is simply the basics. Schedule. And I'm going to go over that here in a second. But a check-in day and a backup day. So key to keep things super simple and support your clients well. 15 to 30 minutes of connection time built in today for your 3, 3, and 3. Dawn's going to kind of go over some tips on what that looks like when you have your consistent pocket times if you got your systems in order. 30 to 60 minutes of solid follow-up time built in. A lot of people do that on Fridays, but like if you don't have the follow-up time, you're going to constantly have people slip through the cracks. Like it just keeps it easy. Just plug that in. This is less than 10 hours a week of work. Trainings, being here today on the call, being around the people that want to learn and grow, the time to hone your craft, the way that you make things easier over time. And then basically a pocket of time of where you know you'll most likely do your calls. Like you're not supposed to be working 24 hours a day on this. I know that most of the time, like if someone wants a 3-way phone call, or if like someone is interested in like getting healthy or wanting to know, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, great times in the evening for me. Thursday, I'm on a date with my wife. I mean, well, recently we're just getting ready for the baby, but like most times I'm on a date with my wife. Saturday afternoons, evenings, usually out with family or connection. Sunday morning, I'm at church. So like I know when and where I can connect, so I don't have to think about it. So just practicing all this stuff. The last two is connecting with your support team, getting guidance. Many of us have never been mentored before or been in a learning type relationship. Stay connected and put it in. Like if you want to learn and grow, connect with your support team the 1st and the 15th of the month or somewhere around there. It doesn't need to be exactly those dates. And then lastly, and the most important, just making endless connections, 3, 3, and 3 connections with that worksheet. And you can do that based off of what your business needs, because all of your business is in different places. Don't do it mindlessly. Do it purposefully. So anyways, you want to take a screenshot? We're going to show you guys this slide every single week so you can remember. Denise is like, see, Denise is a pro. Denise took a picture of that. Here's the other thing, structure mindset. We will also, one of the things that worked really well last month with Coffee and Consistency is you saw the structured mindset of how the pros did it. So I want to share with you guys some things today as you guys are learning your craft. You guys are just learning this, so just make sure you program this into your head. It's the 9th of the month right now. What I would hope for you and what I would hope for any coach that's coaching really well and growing their business, because a growing business means they're a good health coach. You can't grow and not be good at this stuff. You can't not be a good health coach if you're growing, because you'll lose your clients as fast as you're gaining them. But here's a structure set. 2 clients. It's the 9th of the month. Have you started 2 clients yet? If you're on this call, I would hope it's 2 or more. If you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I haven't been there, it's all good. Maybe you just have a school hangover. But I want you guys to know the mindset. And Dawn's nodding your head like you know exactly what I'm talking about. 2 clients by the 9th of the month. That's $700 in frontline volume. That's 2 new people entered into your business. That's 2 new people referring to you by the time we get to October. That's 2 possibly new health coaches or more. Maybe those 2 new clients are the reason why someone starts health coaching today, because they referred or they're a mutual friend of one of your current clients that you've been layering on. 2 clients by now makes a big difference. Have you possibly, especially with our incentive, connected with your next coaching partner? Have you been layering, moving that forward? Have you making connections? Have you been loving on that person? Just an idea. We're almost a third of the way through the month. And then also around this time of the month, it's a great time to do a pulse check. Like right now, Dawn, like I saw your volume. You're over 5,000 frontline volume today. You know exactly what you're tracking for. You know exactly what you've done, and you know exactly where your leverage goes into. Little pockets of mindset flow that make you effortlessly work your business. So that's some stuff today. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys. And this is the kind of stuff we're going to go over. So today I'm going to hand it over to Dawn, and she's going to give us some really good guidance. We basically had a really good follow-up and a really good learning experience this week from learning the mindset of sponsoring. So if you tuned into that training, congratulations, you grew a ton. She's going to give us some insight and then set us up for our actual work time today. So remember the structure, remember those basics, come back to that today. And Dawn, lead us into what are you doing right now? Tell us about your mindset as we go into this next part and set up our work time today.
Yeah, Brad. All right. So I'm excited. And I know that this morning we've set it up, and we're going to set up in September where we're going to do power hours on Saturdays, right? So, we've just gone through a whole series with Coffee and Consistency, where you've heard us talk a lot about time blocking, right? Power hours, things like that. And we're definitely focusing on not just more time. Brad, I love all that you set us up with right there, because it's very clear. Not just more time, but quality time. So I'm going to actually bring on Christy to share a couple things, but we're going to be talking about quality time, intentional purpose time, and what that looks like, right? I mean, as Brad said, I didn't just magically appear as an organized person, and it's actually still someplace that I spend intentional time. And I would probably say most of us do, especially those of us that are growing. It's working on our structure, working on the quality time, and not just winging it, right? I love it. I think I heard Susan LaBelle say once in a training, the wing it plan doesn't necessarily work, doesn't get us where we want to go, because not having that time set aside where you can actually focus and get work done and track it, right? It's hard to follow up with that. It's hard to really that's not tangible. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get your tools out. Okay. So the things you're going to need, which Brad already had a slide up about that. We're going to need your schedule, your map. Everybody got your map? Okay. And I do these in order. So I start with my schedule because winging things doesn't really work for me. I do a lot of intentional time in nooks and crannies. So it's not always 1 hour at a time. It's grabbing 15, 20 minutes here and there. It's grabbing the 30 minutes, but it's always focused. So schedule and map, hundreds list, and your 3, 3, and 3. Okay. And if you don't have all those things set up, it's okay. This is your time to get that all set up. This is your time to catch up. Okay. So don't worry about it, but grab those pieces. And then we're going to give you some tips on doing a few things that are really going to help you focus, especially right now as you're kicking off like the 9th of the month. So I'm going to share my screen. Then I'm going to have Christy come on and share just a little bit. So this is what we're going to focus on today during our time that we work. And I'm going to set the timer for probably 20 minutes, but we're going to work on following up and setting up time to talk with potential coaches. We just had an amazing call on Thursday, you guys. And I know so many of you guys were doing a lot of the groundwork. You took the time to reach out and personally invite people. So now the magic is following up. The second thing we're going to focus on is following up and setting up times to talk to potential clients. Because what we do as coaches is we help and support clients. We bring on and support coaches, and we spend time doing those things. Okay, so doing those two things. And then the third thing is focusing on your connections. So using your 3, 3, and 3. And I'm going to share just a little bit about how I always have an intention and a focus with this. So right now in the month, I am looking at how many new clients have I followed up with and how many have I actually brought on? Who's getting started on their health journey this week? And where do I need to spend time working my 3, 3, and 3 so that I do what I intend to do there? So we've all hopefully filled out our maps. And if you haven't, do it, send it over to your mentor, but declare what you want there. Declare who's going to get started on their health journey. How many people are you going to help? How many new coaches are you going to partner with this month? Have you identified who those new potential coach partners are? And then I focus my 3, 3, and 3 on what I want to create in my business. So we're going to do some things today on that. And since we just had the call on Thursday, I want to bring on Christy for a minute and just brag on her. And I have a couple of slides to share. But Christy, just to brag on her a little bit here, came home from working a full-time job, has 2 little girls at home. She was homeschooling for a little bit. Talk about getting really real with your focus time, because same thing happened to me when I started coming home working more. I got a little scattered, and then everything settled down and you start to get a structure and a flow for that. And Christy has really gotten into her groove. So Christy, could you come off for just a second and share a little bit? You were on fire with the call on Thursday, the sponsoring training. I loved watching you work with your team on keeping track of who you were inviting, of reaching out and following up. I even have some screenshots, you guys, to share of some awesome messages that she was sending to people. Would you like to see those? We're all going to say things in our own voice, but I think it's nice to share kind of some tangible examples. So Christy, what was it like for you? And you've learned over the last, year, as you've been really structuring your time, how to use that on purpose time really for your advantage. So it's not necessarily working more time, but working really quality time.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Are you there, Christy?
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Okay,
sorry. Hi. Yeah. Okay, I was just going to say I'm right there with Candy because I'm just waking up to it. I'm on my second cup of coffee. So hopefully we'll kick in soon. But gosh, what's changed? What am I having the most fun with? And I just have to say that Dawn, you're on it right there with less is definitely more. So for me, consistency has never really been a problem. It's taking less time and more quality time. So something that I have really focused on even in these last 3-4 months is my schedule. My schedule and working in some balance in that, because I'm someone who would make myself available 10 hours a day for my team, for my clients, and you can only do that for so long until you burn out. So um, so I've gotten really clear with my schedule. I have, instead of being available for my clients on client support day for 10 hours a day, yes, that's crazy insane and not duplicatable. I have decreased my client support availability time on check-in day to about 4 hours. And then what else? So finding more balance in my day, having more time with my family, keeping it fun. My husband and I are learning to have more fun with each other, and learning to show that in a way that it's just natural and real, hopefully. And really scheduling in those power hours, but being clear and concise and intentional with those messages, and having more fun and being more authentic and real and talking to people. So anything else, Dawn?
Well, I'm going to share a screenshot, y'all. So Christy was on fire inviting to Thursday's call, as I'm sure a lot of you guys were, right? Who has tons of invites out there that you just spent time, you were messaging, you were calling? Denise is like, me. So Christy, I love that you took time, you wrote every single person's name down that you invited. And I'm going to screen share here for a second, and I'm just going to show, let's see. Okay. This is one of Christy's follow-up messages. And obviously you guys, like Allison says, we don't like copy and paste someone else's words. But Christy, I just loved how you took the time. You followed up with every single person you invited. And that, you guys, is one of the things we're going to take time to do today. As soon as I set the timer, you're going to get to spend some time following up with the people you've invited, making connections, reaching out. But Christy, how cool was it for you to send some messages like this? And what was some response you got?
Yeah, no, this was totally fun. So obviously being on Doug's training and taking what he had to share, but tweaking it to my voice. And so just reaching out to people and sharing a little bit about what I loved about the Exploring Coaching call in a really short to the point, but what did I love? And then turning it back onto them. Which story did you love the most? Not assuming that they weren't on. But assuming that they were. And as I was following up with everyone yesterday morning, what I actually learned is more people were actually on that call than what I thought. Like, I was following up assuming most of the people were not on. And when they were able to come back with like what they loved the most, and yes, we definitely want to explore this more. It just felt really good inside. And it's fun.
Did you guys catch that mindset shift? Did y'all catch the mindset shift that Christy just had right there? Like, when you go in and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, they probably weren't on, but I'm going to follow up anyways. Okay, hold up. Let's assume they were on. And if they weren't, it was just because they had like some emergency happen. So I love that Christy, after just a couple messages back, started shifting into, hold on, most of the people I invited actually took the time to get on. And I'm asking them what story resonated with them the most. What did they love the most? What were their takeaways? And expecting to get some really cool messages back. Boom. Wasn't that cool, Christy? And then you and I talked about it afterwards, just that whole mindset thing. Here's a couple other things, because I was talking to Carlene. So Christy, I'm just going to edify what you say and just kind of like, this is what Carlene said too, you guys. She did the same thing. Calling and reaching out to the potential, clients and coaches that were on the call, which, by the way, I had a bunch of potential clients jump on that call too, because they got a hold of the link and they, I was messaging it to them, and they jumped on, and I've had quite a few people reach back out to me. So literally just what resonated with them. I'm finding the conversation has been different because we're talking about whose stories, just like you said, Christy, whose stories did they identify with the most, and what would they want to explore a little bit more of, and leaving that door open for them to really share what it was that spoke to them, what's on their heart, and then setting up the times. Christy, how has it been going, like setting up the times? Because I didn't grab a screenshot from you on that, but I know you're really good about following up and saying, awesome, I'm available at this time or this time, which works best for you, right? Not just leaving it open like, hey, let's connect sometime over the weekend.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Just what you said.
I love it, Christy. Thank you so much for sharing. And just, I think especially that mindset of expecting that people were on, expecting that they want the recording. Well, lucky enough that I grabbed the recording for you. Would you like it? I'm having people say, yes, please. I wanted to share another screenshot. This is from Andrea Stimson, who had, interesting, you guys. We did an integration call with one of her clients just before the call. So the day before, she invited her to the call on Thursday. She hopped on the call. This was just a little bit of their conversation during the call. She was actually messaging like, oh my gosh, I love this girl's story, when Carol Hips was talking, and they're talking back and forth about it. And then she's like, yeah, I really want to do this. So guess what? From integration call to hanging out, being on the call and listening, to we got to do a new coach meet and greet yesterday because of that. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of share with you guys a little bit of what it looks like to invite, take the time to follow up, find out what resonated with them, be in conversation. It's not just a one and done quick, hey, how was the call? Or were you able to get on? It's actually, were you able to get on? What did you like the most? Oh my gosh, you weren't? What? Thankfully, I have the recording. Would you like it? And then continuing that conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up our slide, and we're going to get to work. And we have a little under 30 minutes. So I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes. Does that sound good, you guys? We're going to get a little work done. Let me pull up the slide so we know what to focus on. So this is what we're going to focus on right now. So when I set up a power hour or some intentional time for myself, this is what I do. I make sure I've got my coffee and my water. I'm all taken care of. I'm not getting distracted during my focus time, because my focus time is protected time. I set a timer because I don't know about you, but I used to clock in and out of a job. Well, you don't clock in and out of this, but I like to set up some structure so I actually can time myself and get as much. It's kind of like a little race against the clock. How much can I get done in 30 minutes? And I get my tool set. So grab out your 3, 3, and 3 list. Grab out your hundreds list. Pick what you're going to focus on for this next 20 minutes. Are you going to follow up from people from the call on Thursday? Are you going to follow up with some conversations that you've started? Are you going to set up some times to talk to people, whether it's Coach Explores, integration calls, or doing client health assessments? Or are you going to spend this 20 minutes maybe getting your 3, 3, and 3 done? What have you done today so far to do your 3, 3, 3, and 3? One of the things I'm going to do is change my profile picture on Facebook. I try to do that once a week. Maybe I'm going to make a post, something inspiring. I usually do that in the mornings. Add 3 friends. We have 20 minutes. So I'm just going to put a little double dog dare out there for you. Let's see how much we can get done in 20 minutes. Let's see if we can get 10 to 15 connections done in 20 minutes. Sound good? Brad, do you have anything you want to add before we set the timer and jump in?
I think it's really cool, like watching the mindset of you, like to get, like this may not be exactly where people's at, but they can start wearing their brain on this. The only thing I would encourage you elsewise on this is just focus on making real connections with people. Like, don't just focus on like, oh, I gotta get 15 done. Just like, okay, I got my systems. I've got everything here. I'm around people that I'm inspired by. I know exactly what my business needs next. I can look at my map. For many of you guys moving to executive director for the first time this month, I'm focusing on creating 7 clients this month. Okay, what actions are going to help you create? What connections today? Which person from your list are you going to reach out to that you haven't loved? Did you see the mindset? Like, it's so easy when you have your stuff set up. If you don't have your stuff set up, congratulations. You know how to do all the stuff now. So just make sure you get organized. Lastly, use the chat. Because the reason behind this, and I'm now that we're in the middle of this, I'm really stoked about this, is in the middle of doing, you have questions. That's why you work closely with your support team while you're growing as a health coach. And why you work really closely with your health coach while you're on your health journey. Because when you're in the middle of doing, you have questions. So if this time provokes questions for you, we will be minding the chat. Throw it in the chat, or we will come back at the very end of this call and answer some really hands-on questions like, okay, I started doing this. What do you guys do? The pros that do this really well, because we all do the exact same thing. Anyway, so that's all I want to add. Dawn, let's kick it off. Set that timer.
All right, I'm setting the timer, guys. It's on for 20 minutes. Utilize the chat. We'll be minding it. And then as soon as we're off, we'll come off. We'll spend 5 minutes at the end wrapping up. And Brad, you've got a little announcement, right?
Yes, I do.
All right. Okay, guys.
Kelly already has the first really good question. Dawn, before we kick that off, when you send a friend request, do you wait? Hold on. Sorry, it's moving so fast. When you start, do you message them while requesting?
Do I message them while requesting? So usually it kind of depends. I have to figure out, I'm not sure exactly how Facebook works now. It used to work that they couldn't see it until they actually accepted your friend request. So I will friend request them, and then you get this is what I do currently. You get a notification that you are now connected on Messenger, and I immediately send a message to them then, because I send my friend requests and the ones that accept. So if anyone has anything else that they do, but personally, that's what I am practicing right now.
Because I believe, and learning all the little nuances, I believe if you try to message them before they've accepted their request, it goes to junk or their junk folder. So yeah, wait for that request. Another quick question on here, Dawn, and I'll let you answer this one. If someone wasn't on the call, do you still assume they were on?
No. I mean, if I know for sure they weren't on the call, if I know for sure they weren't on the call because they were going live horseback or something, like at the exact same time, although maybe they were on, I don't know. I try not to make assumptions for anybody, but I would maybe just ask like, hey, were you able to be on? Like, I don't know, maybe. And then kind of go from there. But that's a great question, Lynette. It's all about you really being real and authentic. And so if I know for a fact someone wasn't on, but also, how do I really know for a fact that someone wasn't on?
I was going to say, Dawn, because I actually, I knew someone couldn't be on, but they ended up getting on. So, that's when Lynette asked that. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. But also, guys, the reason why the coaches that coach the best do the best is because they're just authentic. So, no, if I knew someone was 100%, I would have assumed that. That's inauthentic to assume. But I could definitely assume that they wanted to be on if I knew for a fact they were on. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, say, good question, Lynette. Good question.
Really good question.
We'll do one more question, and then we'll try to just respond in the chat. When do you follow up after sending the recording, and what do you say?
Brad, do you want to take that one? Or I follow up. Yeah, so I usually, so when I send the recording to someone, I go, oh my gosh, okay, here's the recording, because I had a lot of people ask for the recording. So, for example, a lady I met on the plane going home to Wyoming. We connected, we talked on Facebook. Guess who reached out and said, hey, I see you have something cool happening today. I cannot be on, I'm with family, but can you send me the recording? Absolutely. Sent her the recording. And I said, Suzanne, here's the recording. When do you think you might have a chance to watch it? Do you think by tomorrow morning? Because I can call you then. I've got time between this time and this time. I actually assume they're going to watch it. I ask them, will they have time to watch it by tomorrow morning? And then I follow up. So that's how I do it. If you've sent the recording and you didn't ask them like, hey, when might you have time to watch this? Because I've got time free tomorrow afternoon. You can just either ask them that, or I follow up within 24 hours. I kind of have a rule of thumb. I follow up within 24 hours on everything.
Good. I'll add one last thing that we can get to the actual time, because we didn't get to really cover as much. You guys, this last week, everything was about learning mindset and moving things forward. This call you may not get a coach from it, but then again, you guys probably do have coaches coming on. A lot of you guys do, because they were ripe and ready. They just needed the invitation. So the point of this call is you probably are in 3 different areas. Either the people were just waiting for the formality of the call and then signing up as a health coach with the scholarship. Like, they were just waiting for it. Some of you guys just didn't even wait. You guys put the scholarship money on yourself and brought on the coach. Some of them you're following up with because it did spark an interest and you're going to explore it because they are ready to get started. And some people, it was just that next drip to move that direction. I'll let you guys know, to be honest, the people that we followed up with for Ashley and I, no one was ready right now. But that's because we brought on a lot of coaches over the last little bit. And also we're about ready to have a baby. So anyways, being very choosy. So for our new coaches that we brought on, we really like you, because I know you're on the call right now. We really like you guys. A lot of them were like this. I wanted to share with you. One is a doctor who's finishing medical school. He's almost a doctor. And it was just like, dude, I'm so stressed out right now with getting stuff. I was like, great. I just wanted you to watch the call, get an idea, get a feel. Dude, I can't wait. By the way, I got to come see you next week because he's a chiropractor. That's what he's going to medicine for. So I just built that relationship. It was one step closer. Another person, their mom is going to be having surgery here in a little bit. It was like they've referred so many people they should be coaching. I just built that relationship forward. They may get started. I may stay in contact with them this weekend, but just they're going to end up in those three categories, you guys. So I just wanted you guys to get the feel. There's no magic stuff. It's building relationships with people. So I get a lot of nods. So I think I'm getting nods from people that run over 10,000 are successful at this. So you guys know what I'm talking about. So Dawn, I'm going to kick it back to you if you want to throw anything on top of that. And if we can go into our power hour time.
Yeah, well, timer started. So you guys, as we're chatting and answering questions, do your work and just ask questions as you go. But Brad, I was going to just put a little bow on what you said. Yes, calls like Thursday are either A, the formal invitation, right? Kind of the formal, okay, we've been talking about this. We know you're ready. We know you've got some people on your heart. We know your mom's about to get started. So are you ready? Let's do this together. Okay, it's either the formal invitation, it's the continuation of a conversation that you've already been had and you're just waiting for the right timing for that person, or you're planting seeds. So like calls like that, definitely had some people say, this is so awesome. I'm excited for when. And that's great. That's a continuation of a conversation. And then, like I said, having clients and potential clients pop on, that's planting seeds. So just wanted to kind of put a little bow on that. So timer's going. We've got 15 minutes, and then we'll come off in 15 minutes, and we'll kind of wrap up for today, and then send you off into the weekend and this next week, knowing kind of where to spend some quality time.
And as people are working here, I'm going to answer Dan's question real quick. Have someone that I didn't invite to the call, and now the light is on. They would be great. Any tips? One, you can reach out about coaching anytime, any place, anywhere. Like, you don't need a call. But if you just had a call, use, like Doug was saying, like, use real, like, authentic, time with the people in front of you. Like, give real compliments. So if you just really had a call that you really thought they should have been on, that you really forgot to do them to or invite them to, I would really just reach out like that. Be like, hey, here's a recording to a call, or whatever your voice is. I totally wish I would have invited you, but we just had it. It made me think of you. Would love to explore it. I don't know, however the thing goes, but yeah, just like one of those type of things. It's still there, and we also have a scholarship this weekend. Maybe that's a reason they want to explore it, because it is a really good time for coaches to come on right now. So maybe that's all the reasons why you reach out. Just reach out and make that connection. All right, now quiet time.
Brad, quiet time's hard for you and I, I'm just saying. But we're going to get our own work done, okay? So ask in the chat, and then we'll keep a heads up on it, okay? All right, guys. Timer just went off. Feel like it's the end of a test. Pencils down, hands off the keyboard. Finish up the last message you're sending. And then I'm going to kick it over to Brad, but feel free to pop in the chat. How was that? We just got like 15 to 18 minutes in of actual focus time today because we had a lot of good conversation, a lot of setting up for this. And as we move forward into the month, we'll be getting more and more time of actual focused, hands-on working time together. But share in the chat or come off mute. How was that? And I'm going to kick it over to Brad because I do know he's got a couple announcements for us. Where did the time go? I know, right? Fast.
Andrew says awesome. Heather says awesome. Went by fast. So let's see here. One of the things that why we want to do this was so it's all learning. Everything's learning here. And so I'm sure you guys learned a lot of stuff there. There's a few different things. One, that you'll learn along the way. That the best do. Now you're learning those things. Maybe you got distracted. Maybe you realized that like, oh my gosh, they said to go to work and I had none of my things in place. Maybe you were like, holy cow, I can't believe how much I've gotten like structured in this last little bit. No wonder it's been easy for me. Maybe some of you have been like, oh my gosh, I got all in a whirlwind this last week. All I need to do is come back to the connections. Maybe some of you learned some really good stuff here. Denise said, I blew up my Facebook with a post and setting up health assessment. So did anyone, as we kind of wrap up here today, and we have some like things for you guys this week, but all connections add up over time. So just the fact that you sat down today and did this, now that you know how to do it at a higher level, like I see Susan still making connections like right now on her phone right now. She's like, yep, thumbs up. She's so focused right now. Like this is the stuff, and it's practice that makes perfect on all this. I'm trying to mind the chat. Thank you. This time is I love the timer idea. Help me focus on my ADD. Yes, get something done. Yes. How many of you have ADD and like need to like be forced to focus? I'll give you guys just like, because we're all learning, we all have different learning things. I have ADD like crazy. So when I learned to grow, when I grew my business, is when Ashley basically said, Brad, if you don't get your stuff together, I'm not going to work with you. And I was like, okay, cool. There was my breaking point, like to like learn to like get this stuff done. So this is good practicing here. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Does scholarship end Sunday or Monday? It goes through Monday. So you can utilize that, continue to use that as touches. So anything we want to add here, or do we want to set it up for anyone to ask any questions? Or did you want to add anything as I kind of wrap up with some action steps for this week?
No, I think let's wrap up with some action steps, but of course people can always ask questions. That's the beauty of this. This is a hands-on working time, safe place to ask questions for sure. But Brad, yeah, I think wrap us up, send us off with some action steps. And I don't know about you guys, but you feel the energy when you actually set some focus time and you get some stuff done. That's why setting 15, 20 minutes aside, getting a timer going can set you up for a really on-purpose day in, not just this, but all areas of our lives.
No secret to success, you guys. Everyone that does this does the same. Like Christy, actually, you put it in our group chat or was it last night? You were like, I love that when consistency pays off. You had just sent a caring message to someone about their trip somewhere, and then they wrote you back, and then you said, oh, great, how did it go? And then they were like, oh, it went great. By the way, I've been meaning to talk to you. You didn't do it, you didn't do that to get a client. You didn't make it awkward. You were just building relationships, and it's funny how it pays off. There is a question in the chat, and this is exactly what we wanted to do, and we will be doing this month is action time and real life in-depth stuff. Denise, you are an over $10,000 frontline volume pro. Kelly asked you in the chat, Denise, how do you follow up? What do you say when you make that post? Will you share with us, and then I'll kind of leave us with some tips today, and then we can actually stay on afterwards for anyone who has any questions.
Okay. Well, number one, I got to start writing stuff down. So I grabbed a blank hundreds list and I started writing everybody's names. I go and check.
Hey, real quick, Denise, real quick. Did you go and print one real quick, or did you have a lot of those already printed off?
I have them available right here next to me.
Imagine that. Oh, wait, keep going.
There we go. So whenever Brad says go print out 5, I've been doing this a while, but I go back to the basics. I'm going to print them out and I have them right here. So because I'm not going to remember all these people, and I want to go and look quickly and see if they are being coached by one of my other coaches or by another coach, so I don't step on people's toes, number one. But I put down what their goal was, and I'm private messaging. And these have been people that have been on my heart for a while. And a simple post that I stole from Dan Hite, it's blowing it up. People are messaging me. They're, friends of other friends, other coaches. Bam. People know it could be done. So
what do you say to the follow up there? I think that was Kelly's main question.
Sorry. I saw your post about wanting to lose weight before Christmas. I love helping people. I would love to help you reach your goal. Here's my number. What's yours? And they're setting up appointments with me. So
long story short, and I'm going to share your screen real quick so people can see what you're talking about. 1 second. Zoom. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Facebook. All right, so Denise, you just put this up here. Like, there's no tricks. By the way, real quick, guys. All right, I want you guys to don't pay attention to the screen. Real quick, pay attention to me. A lot of people, when you're learning the flow of this stuff, you guys think that there's tricks and behind the scenes. There are no tricks to relationships. There are no Facebook algorithms. There are no super secrets. What we're giving you is the goods and a cadence and a pace that you can build real relationships and be authentic. This is something I don't have to ask Denise. I can just tell because I work with her very closely. She just decided, like, she's bringing content. This probably spoke to her. Like she said, she saw Dan Hite use this, and like she liked it, so she used it. It spoke to her. She didn't copy and paste, and I mean, actually, you probably were kind of close to that. But like, you like the idea, you used it. It fit the flow of your business. You're trying to bring on new clients. Like, you're passionate about this, so like it fit. So you did this, and you have people responding. And so, like you said, this one's a little different because you were saying, like, you want to make sure they're not a coach or a client of somebody else. Like Sarah. Sarah's on here. By Halloween, go Sarah. I see Sarah on the call. Then, like, people are going to fall into a multitude of places. If they're not clients, they're going to go on that list, and she's going to send them a message. You can do anything from, like, literally be like, hey, tell me, like, just be real and like normal and authentic. Like, hey, I saw your post. Like, tell me a little about that. Or like, hey, like, I don't know. Or maybe you just mark them down and you start loving on them a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like,
Brad, one of the things you said, or Dawn said, it's not a one and done.
These are some people that have been on my heart and I'm on my list for a while. I may have reached out to them or tried to connect with them. They just weren't ready. What this post did was show them, if you couldn't fail. And now I'm going to reach out in relationship. Where am I at in my relationship with them? I'm not going to go jump all over them. I'm going to find out and look back, where am I with them? And it was good timing. Saturday morning, people are flipping through their phone. It has to do with timing too. So.
Exactly. I love that. We'll make sure we don't have any more questions here. Here's a technique you want to hone: time blocking. So Ashley just put something in the chat. Perfect. So check that out. Ashley, real quick, I know you're with Witten. Can you explain what that is?
The Pomodoro technique.
Yeah, can you explain what that is?
It's Pomodoro means tomato, and it's basically this guy figured out, like, we've all heard of time blocking, but he started with a tomato timer. And I don't know, you just read it, like it gives you the steps, because I've taught time blocking before and people still just don't. It's just not natural for people. So this is an actual technique of how to time in short chunks, how to focus your energy all in one spot, and then how to take a break, and then how to come back.
Perfect.
Like an actual timer.
Awesome. Thank you, Ash.
Not your phone. It doesn't work really to have your phone as the timer.
Yep, because you're on it. Okay, cool. I like it. Thanks for that resource. Okay, cool, guys. As we wrap up here today, thank you, Ash, for that. This is what we're doing this month. Congratulations. This is the club. This is the people that want to learn and grow. Thank you for being here. Like, gosh, man, I didn't even need coffee at this point. Like, I love being around people like this. And again, by the way, guys, I've been doing this close to a decade. I'm still coming back to these basics myself. So when Denise is talking about that, I'm taking notes, remembering what it's like to do all these things. A lot of you guys are growing at this. Stay connected. this month, as we wrap up here, I encourage you guys to really hone your schedule. Now that you saw what Dawn guided us through and what we will be doing all month, remember how we talked about plugging in 15 to 30 minutes of like intentional connection time with your 3, 3, and 3 document? That's what it looks like now. And now with that practice today, you probably either realize like, okay, cool, I got my stuff, I'm ready to rock, I'm focused, I can do that. Or you're like, okay, I need a little bit of practice this. I don't have my stuff lined up. Like, oh my gosh, like, you're learning these things. Make sure you have your schedule set up for all those things and that all these things are ready to go. Here's the wrap up and the action steps for this week. This is what the pros do. These are the ones that are growing. And again, I'm preaching the choir. You guys know this. You guys are just continuing to cement this as you guys are growing. Focus on your basics. The pros have just done this longer. Like that's really how it goes. Assess and get a pulse check on your map this week. It is the 9th of the month. It's really, I'm not going to explain it today, but there are chemicals in our body that we understand, operate, and do better when we understand where we are and where we are in the process and where we want to go. So if you take a break today, like 10 minutes to be like, okay, cool, this is where I'm at my map. This is where I want to go. I'm not going to explain the science behind it, but there's something that happens in our brain when we do that in little pulse checks. It's kind of like called structural tension. It's kind of in the habits of health. It's kind of a real thing. So that is a skill of this business. Here's what to focus on for week 1. Continue your 3, 3, and 3 and making connections daily. If you guys continue to do that, you're going to do fantastic. And we'll go into a little bit more nuance throughout this month on those things. Like Dawn, you gave us a lot of good feedback on that today and how to do that. Follow up with people for the coaching scholarship this week. Thank you, Dawn and Christy, for the great examples there. Here's the things, you guys, to mark down on your calendars as you guys are desiring to grow this month. Again, 90% of it's just doing the basics, but I want you guys to know your high leverage activities. We're going to do a Real Stories of Health call this next Thursday. And for those that are newer, that's just basically where we have stories of health. People can come on and learn. If you've got your list, if you've got your setup, you're going to be able to make some solid invitations to this call on top of what you're just doing normally daily. Don't think this is a massive like invite thing, but if you are doing the daily and if you are making connections, you will notice that you'll be able to make some strong invitations to this call with some people that you are layering on if you're focused on them and bringing value to them. So look for that information on the Facebook page, but mark down Thursday evening, we're going to be doing a call. It's probably going to be like 6, 6:30 or 7, somewhere in that time frame, Pacific Standard Time. That's what we're going to do. Then lastly, I want you guys to mark this down now that we're giving you guys all the tools. We're starting a focus group September 18th. We talked about it on last week's call in our client support pages. Long story short, it's nothing major. We're just going to basically set a time for people to refocus and to give them some dialogue on how to create health in their life at a deeper level. So for your current clients or past clients or people that need a refresh or a reason for people to start, that day will be very important to you. So I want you to track my mindset as I wrap up here. It's the 9th today. That is 9 days away or 10 days away. A lot of people, if you're inviting to start up, we'll put the post in the page along with the call. People need to be started invited to this now. Like, hey, this is an inviting tool. This is a reason for someone to start, because if you're on the West Coast, they're going to need to get their food before they start that focus group. So it creates urgency for them to get started. So just use that as a tool. Use it with your client check-ins this week, to give them a heads up on that. Reach out if you need more information, but basically we're just going to start and give people the tips on how to focus. The first week will just be about creating higher intention for your health. What do the pros do to create a health focus for themselves? The next week's understanding some nutrition a little bit better and understanding how the plan works. And then the other thing would be week 3 will be how to build habits, lasting sustainable habits of health. How do people do that and keep it fresh going forward? So nothing major, but it does give some extra focus to this next little bit. So that's what we've got for you. Today was fantastic. Dawn, you wrap us up and kick us off into the week. That's the stuff for everyone to know and just continue doing the actions. That's what we do.
Boom, Brad. Thank you. You guys, I'm loving the chat. So sounds like this was helpful. This is going to be a fun month as we come together every Saturday morning and do this. The thing I would say is this isn't something just to come and do on a Saturday morning. Take what you learned from here and apply it every day. Apply it into your schedule. Pick your times that you're going to work your on purpose schedule this week. So go out, have fun this weekend, be intentional with your time, lots of calls and follow-ups, probably spend time with your family, put the rocks in that are important to you. So like Christy and Andrea, and we were chatting the other day, the rocks in your schedule are also dropping your kids off at school, dinner with the family, date nights, things like that. Get those all in your schedule. And it's kind of, in our house, this is our saying, if it's not in the schedule, it doesn't exist. Because that's just kind of like random time. So get the things in your schedule, but make sure you put plenty of time in to have fun and spend time with your family, but to be intentional. So as you're looking at your next week, tomorrow is Sunday. I look at my schedule in the evening time on Sunday and I plan it out for my week. I plan out my intentional time. Where are going to be my little time blocks? Put those in. What does it look like? Shoot it over to your mentor. Shoot it over to the person who you're going to be working closely with. And then show up for yourself during those times. So Brad, that's what I would say is just get in there and have some fun and play with your schedule this week and stick to it. And most of all, have fun connecting with people. That's what it's all about.
That's it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us Saturday. Thanks for being part of our group that lifts each other up. I'm loving the chat right now. Stay on purpose. And remember, like I'm predicting like another record month because success leaves clues. And if you just stay consistent, you'll see the victories of this. I want you guys to think about it as we wrap up today and continue on this week. What consistency from last month is going to show up in this month? There you go. All right, guys, that's the information. We got the call next week. Next Saturday's call will be more of the same, except we're going to be going over how to make more connections with people and more ideas of how to use the focus group to reach out, but more intentional reach out time. See you guys next Saturday. Success leaves clues. Listen to the people that do the best at this, and you will be there too. Talk to you guys later.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Christy, for all the insight you shared. And Denise, awesome.
All right, bye, guys.
And thanks to everyone who popped in the chat and asked a question. Bye, guys.
Bye.